I have a lot of conversations with agencies, more conversations than almost anybody in the space. And there's one thing that drives me nuts.
Welcome to Show Me the Nuggets, where each week Joe chats with world-class entrepreneurs to find out the key principles, strategies, and processes that lie behind their outstanding achievements. Now, your host, the no-bullshit serial entrepreneur, Joe Troyer.
At the end of the day, I have a very unique perspective. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because I want you guys to value what I'm about to tell you. I have a list of digital triggers of some 50,000 marketers and SEOs and agencies. And at Invisible PPC, I work with a ton of agencies. So I just have a lot of data between the two. I have a lot of conversations with agencies, more conversations than almost anybody in the space. And there's one thing that drives me nuts. There's one thing that absolutely kills me inside. And it's seeing agencies flounder. And what I mean by that is I speak to somebody and I've known them for 5 years in this industry. And when I first met them, right, they were just getting their agency started. They had 2 or 3 clients. They're making ends meet. It's better than a day job, but they never really flourished, right? And then fast forward, 5 years later, 6 years later, and I'm breaking bread with them. I'm having a conversation with them. I see them at a live event. I'm getting a coffee with them, and I'm asking them how things are going, and they're floundering, right? They're at the same place that they were all that time ago. And this has been their goal, to grow their agency. And there's really one thing, there's really one big thing, I believe, is the number one reason that agencies flounder versus flourish. And what I really mean by that is I think definitely our attention spans are part of it, but we don't look at our business like a real business. We don't start with the intention. We don't make a plan. We don't follow the plan, right? We don't stop and actually look at our business. I think that's the big problem, right? We're not building something to sell something, right? When you look at a business through that pair of lens or that look, it makes the way that you go about that business very different. I'll give you an example. When you give yourself a constraint, right, you'll figure out how to get enough work done, for example, in that constraint. If you say, I'm going to only work 4 hours a day, right? You give yourself that constraint, you will get all your work done in 4 hours a day. Make sense? But if you never give yourself that constraint, you end up working 8, 10, 12 hours a day and not even completing all the work that you completed if you gave yourself that constraint in 4 hours. And so the number one reason that I see agencies flounder and flourish is because they never really take the time to build a plan, to really think through how they're going to build and scale their agency and flourish. And I think at the end of the day, the number one thing that you have to do, just to give you guys a little homework, the number one thing that you have to do while you're going through this planning phase is you have to identify who the heck you're gonna help. We're at the place in the agency market, in serving local businesses, at being marketers, being agencies, being freelancers. I don't care what you want to call it. We're at the place where being a generalist is going to get you nowhere fast. You got to become a specialist. The sophistication of the marketplace out there is much different than it was 5 years ago. It is very, 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 very different. And the only way that you're going to compete with somebody who, was interested in buying your services and now they're not, and the reason that they tell you that they're not is because their cousin, now does social media and they don't need you anymore. The only way that you're going to be able to compete with that is if you stop being a generalist and you become the expert. And you can truly battle that objection and battle that rebuttal, right? Well, that's fine, but they're obviously not going to be able to get the results that I can get for you, Mr. Water Damage customer, because we work with 45 water damage clients. It's safe to say we know what works and what doesn't, right? Does your nephew work with 45 clients in your same market? No, of course not. So I talk with so many agencies that have no plan, number one, and number two, they have no idea who they're serving. And if you have no plan and you have no idea who you're serving, you're just floundering. And I don't say this to be harsh. I don't say it to be rude. I want to help you guys, right? That's why I do this. So do me a favor, put some time and some energy and some effort over the next day, over the next night, right? Tonight, tomorrow, over the next couple of days, right? On building a plan and figuring out just even the start of the plan, who you want to serve. Because that's going to make what I teach you next 10 times more powerful. The people that take this and run with it and get great results are the ones that I promise took an hour of planning to figure out how they want to build their business, what they want it to look like, how much time they're going to invest, who they're going to serve, who they're going to help, who they don't want to help.
Thanks for tuning in and Show Me the Nuggets. If you've been enjoying the podcast and find our content helpful, please visit our Apple Podcast page, hit the subscribe button, and leave us a review. Joe and the whole team have been working hard to bring more value to the show. Your feedback will go a long way in helping us make the show better and reach a wider audience.